This is Paul Fields in the Meter Center. Welcome to Folios at the Meter Center, a collection of our rare books and our description of them. The first one that I want to deal with is Calvin's very first book, published in 1532, the commentary by Seneca called De Clementia. It deals with the fact that Calvin himself, as a young scholar, is attempting to make his way as a humanist scholar. He's dealing with a book that had been first commented on. A commentary was written by Erasmus before. And Calvin, we're not sure why he would have chosen this book, but we think it's possible that as a young scholar, he's trying to make his way in the field. And we'll say, okay, Erasmus wrote on this book. I also will try to add something new to the discussion. Calvin's a young scholar at this point. He was born in 1509. He writes this and has it published by 1532. So he has already finished school. He's written his first book, and now he's attempting to make his way as a scholar. We do not know much about the printer. You can see the printer's mark in the middle of the book. It's a wonderful one. Every once in a while you'll find a book published by this or printed by this particular printer, but we don't know much about it. The book itself is fairly small. It's a book that, again, we assume Calvin perhaps chose also because he was interested in the whole idea of clemency. How does a ruler deal with those with whom he disagrees? Certainly Seneca was dealing with Nero. We know what Nero's reputation was and how he treated those within the empire. Did Calvin pick this book because Protestants were being persecuted in France and he wanted those in leadership within France to stop and think that these particular people were not necessarily enemies of the kingdom? We're not sure, but that may be one reason why this book was chosen. It's always good to know that many of these books have been commented upon, have been studied in many different ways by many different scholars, and it's very interesting to note that actually there's a whole commentary on De Clementia by Ford Lewis Battles, who was written in the 1960s. It is, as you can see, a good-sized book that deals with every aspect of this particular work. So, as scholars interact with the material, we love to point out to those who come into the Meter Center that in addition to the rare books, we also have the commentaries on them.